Man, I think we might be live, guys. Let me know what you got on your end, if you can hear me and see me okay. And we'll get this thing rolling. I don't even smoke or drink, but after trying to fix OBS, I could go for a stiff whiskey and a cigarette right now. That was some bullshit if I've ever been part of it. I don't know if any of you have a better recommendation than OBS, but I am sick and tired of that shit. It's always a problem. But anyhow, the goal of today's stream, guys, is going to be a very thorough breakdown on Bitcoin. We'll likely stick to our daily time frame, and we'll work from there. After which we will handle the Ethereum chart and what we're looking for locally, and we'll look into whatever altcoins that you guys want to discuss. Okay. Really quick, I have a question for you in the chat. If you guys don't mind answering that, it's just an easy one. What's up and where are you guys all from? If we got any new people in here, if not, just say what's up and you guys chat to each other where you're from, man. Let's see here. We got so far in the chat a bunch of people in here. What's up, Liam? Also, thank you so much for sharing everything online about the stream. It's really helpful. Same thing to you, Jamie. I hope you guys are having the best week. Who else we got here? Brian, always in the house. Six, what's up? What's up, Addy? Dude, it's always OBS problems. What's up, Apex? How are you? Fart Boy, look at you, man. Just firing them up, son. All right, so let me write this down, guys. We're going to have Bitcoin first, Ethereum, it looks like, followed up by Ye Old Fart Boy. Man, we're going to get to that one early in the stream. All right. Whales been getting it on, yeah. What have people been picking up a lot of roar, Liam? Well, we definitely have to look at that chart, my dude. What's up, CACU? What's up, Gert? We can look at OP for you, my dude. Fucking two cats in the house. How have you been, dude? Hopefully dinner was good. It sounded amazing from what you said. All right, what else do we got here? Barry coming in from the UK, buddy. How have you been, man? We haven't seen you. I think you came to the Discord on a trial for a little bit, possibly. Nice to see you again, though. Oh, B got, well, what, a fucking snow day off? Man, you can't beat that. All right, Stank, what's up, buddy? We haven't seen you in a while. I hope you're doing okay. It looks like you want us to look at something called Momo. I've never even heard of that, so that'll be fun. Let's check it out. Addy's up for ETH. Me too. What's up, Nameless? Hope you're doing good, man. Happy New Year to you too. Camilla's in the house. How are you? As always, guys, if you don't mind smashing up the like button, sharing the stream with your friends, and always staying engaged in the chats and the emojis really helps others get the stream seen. So without any further delays here, I'm going to get going on our Bitcoin analysis, and then we'll move into Ethereum like we talked about, and we'll follow that up with altcoins from there. I'll check in with the chat in just a little bit. All right, let's get going here. So on Bitcoin, for me, I'm calling this as the cycle top for now due to our local counts to the downside, okay? Excuse my burp. And to the downside so far, we have had a clear 5 waves and then a 3, 3, 3 structure and a B wave and a clean, clear 5 waves down again. If this is true, this is likely an ABC. If you are lucky kind of as a bull, what you're wanting then is for this first leg down, this first ABC, to be just that, the first leg of a correction to the downside, and then we look for a 3-wave movement to retrace some of this motion towards the downside, right? The ways that I would be looking for my areas of interest after such a fall would be based upon liquidity or internal fair value gaps left behind. And also, I would be using our fibs that we typically use, right? The retracement and the extension. So really quickly, let's just bang these on here so we have them. Boom, boom, boom. All closed up here. Fucking shut them down, open up shop. All right. That was a joke if anybody's listening. But all right, so you can see, look what did we do here on this Y wave high to our daily internal liquidity here on Bitcoin, guys. You can see that this was our internal liquidity left behind. Big breaker candle down, back test this liquidity. We can get it a touch more finalized there. And then we come up into it and reject out of it with bullish order flow, or what would be on your chart a green candle, right? So in my opinion, right, I do think it's likely that we could take that high at some point. We would have to kind of tweak our counts a little bit for that to happen, because as of right now, if you are lucky, and I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, it's just a long shot, but maybe this WXY was the first leg of A. We're waiting for a B wave to the downside that retraces at least 90% of this structure, and then a large, strong C to the upside, right? So if ifs and buts were candies and nuts, we would all be fucking rich, wouldn't we? So I would take my retracement from the low of C to the high of A, and I would be looking to see, hey, can we get that minimum 90% retracement? I would also like to say that would take about 50% of the liquidity left behind in this wick. So if we go to the bottom of that wick and we turn on our 0.5 retracement, and we go back down and take half of that money out of there, that would eat up half of that wick left behind. It would bounce around 90% and then come up to take the liquidity that's left above. Yes? So this could really create a lot of, this would throw a lot of people off, honestly, going into this new trading season, right? They would be like, oh my God, the low was in. We have 5 up. They would start trying to kind of bullshit ways for this to have been an impulse of some kind off the lows. But I would just for safety's sake not get in that zone, right? You're going to hear a lot of people tossing around the word, oh, this is a super cycle. Things are going to be different this time, right? There's going to be all kinds of stuff getting thrown around. But the critical thing to remember is to stay pretty much level-headed here on your Bitcoin analysis, as the top may be in, right? So let's put a retracement from high to low. I'm going to put it way off to the side because this is likely going to stay on here for quite some time. Let's see what we got here. That was our 90% retracement we were looking for, so let's switch this to less clutter. So if you make a 3-wave move down in an A, in a B, in a C, and you come down here, we could very well fulfill this prophecy, right? This would get people really excited if we made a strong displacing 5-wave motion. We can look at this with some extensions just to get a generalized idea on it, right? Minimum retracement in a flat is 90%. The most common style of flat is an expanded flat, meaning that the B wave would take this prior low, right? But if all we did was the 90% retrace, we could very easily see this going to a corrective trend-based extensions and making this internal liquidity that was left behind from the prior rejection of this WXY in a 3-3-3 motion. So for now, I do think overall on the daily, you are looking for one more move to the downside. We will kind of start to talk about a probability shift point really quickly on that. Let's delete some of this so we can see what we're doing. And we'll zoom in on this leg at the same time. So then let's put a retracement from the high here, because it's going to be important to see what our resistances are as this move starts to come back up, right? It will give us a better clue as to what's going on. So let's turn this to a 4-hour. A gentleman in our trading group in the Discord, his name is Delta, shared a chart and said, what if this is 5 down, and you made an A, B, and you're coming up in a C, right? He had his B wave going to the minimum retracements of a flat, which was 90%. But in this instance, we actually went down a little bit further. But his idea is golden because why? You come to the expanded B wave retracements taken from the 0 point to the A, and you predict the B to come to around 1.236 to 1.382. Followed up with a strong, expansive B or C wave to the upside, right, guys? Now, as a trader for longs, that's easy invalidation here, right? So if you are someone who possibly caught a long this morning, good job on you, right? So you have easy invalidation here at the lows at 1.3% away, and you're looking for this target to the upside. So as a trader, you're asking yourself, how do I do this? How do I mitigate risk? Well, your bias, if it's to the upside, you use your extensions from 0 to A. That's the first 2 clicks. And the third click will be the low of this potential B wave, right? Now, the most common area of interest is to take the highs of the A wave as a minimum. That gives us a 2.79 risk to reward ratio. I would like to be a little closer to a 3, so I'm going to bump my risk a little bit less so that I don't screw up my position sizing when I put the 1 to 2% risk with my position size calculations. And I aim for it to take the highs of A with this move if it is to hold, yes? So if our bias is long here on Bitcoin, we could potentially be looking for longs on other cryptocurrencies, right? That's something that Jamie, if Jamie's still here, I don't know if she is, she's in our Discord and she often points out, hey, I like to team up my my shorts on my altcoins with what the Bitcoin chart is looking like. And it's paid off for her highly. So that's a good tactic to try to employ, is to team up maybe an altcoin with this Bitcoin movement if we are to see some follow through. So good job, Jamie. Sorry, guys, need another sip of coffee. Baby has not been sleeping well. She's got those back big teeth coming in. And man, she is grumpy. She is a grumpy little 2-year-old. So, all right. So if this was 5 complete and we're looking at 3 up, 3 down, and we're looking for 5 up, that's a local option on your 4-hour. But for now, let's stay kind of focused here in figuring out where this C wave goes, right? Now, if at any point you start to really start climbing up these stairs, right, and you break the 786, we're going to have to recount this motion to the downside, and we will have to label it as something more corrective or the potential of something that had ended there. We're not going to get into that right now because there's no reason to have 27 things out there and confuse us. Right now, our bias on the daily is a motion up that breaks the highs of $91,000 and gets up to around likely, let me delete this so we can see, likely to the mid 92 range, yes? So I would say I'm long biased to 91.5 to 92.476. If at any point Bitcoin begins to break the 92.5 range, I want you to understand something bigger is at play. We need to reevaluate the counts. That's something we'll be keeping up to date in the community. But overall, guys, stay focused on that, okay? All right. Let me take a peek here to see what's up in the chat, and then we'll keep going. Oh, Barry. Thanks for coming back and checking it out, Barry. What's up? I got OP for 2 cats already. Jamie asked for Soul. Let me write that down. Sorry, guys. It takes me a sec. I got to do all this on my own here. We got Solana for Jamie. I almost forgot it. I apologize. Momo, CACU. What's up, Markva 32. Heyo. What's up? I think we might talk on Twitter. I think I've seen a name that looks somewhat similar to that. Sorry, there's so many of them now. Doctor said, fuck the trial. Pay for it. Yeah, we bring a lot of value to the table. It's a really fun community, man. Thank you. I miss you guys too, Stink. We haven't had a live stream in forever, dude. I hate it. Oh no. See, is everybody sick? Better at your house? Oh yeah. Jasmine for Stink. Let me write that down. Sorry guys, just reading through the chats. Don't want to miss anything. Stank, you come up in here with all the charts, man. You should come to the community, dude. Check it out. You're missing out on a lot of plays. 6 Longsome ETH. Good. Let's go check that out, dude. Because I think you and I might be feeling the same vibe on that one. Bop. And Rose for 6 also. As always, guys, the people from the community will kind of gain some preference once we start to get really busy in here. Brian wants access. He's also a member of the Discord. So you guys have any questions, man, about how the community is or what your value is or what all we bring to the table, you have a ton of people in here right now to talk to about it, yeah? We've also been just killing the options plays. I can take no credit for that. That's another technical analyst. 34 EMA trader. We also took a short on Intel, which absolutely crushed it, that nobody saw coming. So we've been really hitting some bangers. So, all right, let's go look at Ethereum together. Overall, I was hoping that this was going to be an expanded flat, meaning that this C wave would take the lows of the A wave and give me a little bit lower of an entry. But everything doesn't go our way, right? So sometimes you might have some orders that get left behind, right? I was waiting around this 2756 area. I didn't get picked up, so no, I didn't get a lever long on this. As a spot trader, I've been accumulating Ethereum down here around the 786, as you guys know, for a while. Dude, I wish you would change your name to Dr. T. It would be super helpful. But yeah, so let's talk about Ethereum going forward on an 8-hour and why we feel like we could be bullish on this, right? So the reason I want to label this as an ABC, we will break down as we go. Wave 1 into wave 2, wave 3, 4, and 5. This is not an expanded diagonal, so it qualifies as a regular old leading contracting diagonal as a possibility here. In a leading diagonal, those are very complicated, right? They can be made in 5-wave motions or 3-wave motions. But as long as we see consistency throughout the pattern of 5, 5, and 5, or 3, 3, and 3, in those motive waves to the upside as substructures, then we can lean towards a probability. After which we look for a strong motion down after a diagonal that typically finds the 786 retrace. That's that red little dotted line you can see on my chart. It is placed from 0 to A. Now this is something that we've been tracking on Ethereum for a while. We picked it up here in spot and leverage, right? I did not sell my spot, but I de-risked my leverage up here. I saw this as a 3-wave motion and I got out early. Yes, I didn't catch one more high, but you're not going to get them all, right? It's not fucking Pokemon. We're not going to catch them all. Just doesn't work out that way. Now, I also would like to even be open to the idea that somehow, some way, this was 3 down and 3 up and 5 down to finish off whatever this hideous thing was in a B wave. Maybe it was a WXY, and this was somehow a flat. We'll break it down as we go into these lower time frames, but I just want you to understand that due to the time in construction from 0 to the highs of A, this is past a 2 in time, meaning the corrective phase is over and nearly 2.5 times longer than its growth phase. Because of that, it leans itself towards being a B wave. Yes? So, not anything but a C wave to the upside should come from this, meaning a 5-wave motion in C. And once we see this start moving, we will be able to have better math on it. But first we have to confirm a pivot. Now you're asking yourself, how the fuck do we do that, right? That's why we're all here, to learn that together. So how we confirm a pivot is that we look for price action to move off of an area of interest. I'm just going to fucking delete everything so we can see this clearer. Oopsie. Is to move off an area of interest in one of 2 ways. First way is a 5-wave nature, right? The second way is a shitty diagonal that we just talked about. Right? So if it's one of these two, and then we make a successive three-wave pullback that holds an area of interest, we can look for the probability that that low is in, right? So let's go into these lower time frames and take a look. Yes? Excuse me, guys. I am a little off rhythm this morning. I had a stressful morning. OBS got me all jazzed up like a box of Zatarans. I couldn't think straight. All right. So this is your actual low. That's good. Let's zoom out a little bit more. Highest oscillation. Let's check some volume. Highest volume. Let's see here. I think that 5 up may be done. Be my best guess. My guess is this is 1 into 2. The problem is you would have to be, well, I guess we forgot to talk about the third way that you often will form the start of something, and that is 1-2 stackings also. So with the probability, because of the extensions reached, I would have to say there is a possibility. God, I would hate to see this as a wave 3 because of only a 3-wave motion. This would be a giant wave 4 for it. I'm going to have to stick with my guns and say that's 5 waves up there, 3 waves down. I would hate to say this is 1-2 stacking from here. Unfortunately, that might be the way that it starts off to throw people off 6. You might be in a good short. This might be the end again. What I would do is stay hourly or above so that you don't get thrown off and continue to hold your long, sir. And I would have to say that if any point you start to lose these kind of structural, what you want to be 1-2 stackings, it's kind of over. So I would put my retracement all the way to the highs for now. We got great respect at the 236 and 382. I think if you come down here, so be it. But at no point would I allow this to, make sure I get it as close as we can. I wouldn't want to see it lose 28.30, right? So you start to lose 786 and 1.618. You start to lose this hourly internal fair value gap left behind from the breaking candle. Then yes, your position will be kind of in a little bit of danger, right? So essentially what you're wanting, eventually when the computer catches up with us, is you're wanting this pivot on Bitcoin to be somewhat similar. So I would try to team this up as that play. So what if on Bitcoin you're looking at the same thing as a 5-wave motion up, 3 down, 3 up, 5 down maybe? So that could be something to consider. And this is wave 1 and wave 1 into 2, or just an A wave, right? And we can figure this out as we go. Let's delete everything so we can just look at it really clear. Sorry that we're bouncing back and forth here a little bit. I just think it's important to take a look at this, because without Bitcoin, Ethereum does nothing. So that will be important. So let's go from 0 to the highs of the prior ABC. That's kind of nice, and it comes down to here. So if we're looking for math on Bitcoin longs, if that's a 1 into 2, that's easy invalidation, 3, 4, and 5. 1 into 2. Now, the other scenario for you to talk about would be, what if this was an ABC? We'll cover that also, and what the difference is. Regardless, for now, your bias is a bullish bias. And you add your base channel from 0 to your low of your probable correction or connector to the high of the first leg, right? So the first leg is either an A or a 1. And then from there, we're going to look to see, how does this C wave behave, right? Judging by how strong the reaction up is so far, I would like to say this is 5 waves, if you are lucky, in the wave 1 of 3 or the wave 1 of C, right? Because of how strong it is, I would likely have to say it might be this 3. And if it is, you need it to cause price action that breaks out of the base channel, meets that 90,700 mark as a minimum wave 3 target. And then we'll follow this up with an average 2.236 as your wave 5 target. Okay. Boom. On average, that wave 5 target should be around 92.2. So all these people who think they're fucking geniuses riding shorts might get fucked. So that's something to be looking for. Hey, Delta's in the house. We were just talking about you a little bit ago, sir. Oh, it's Indy. Now I got who your name is. Man, you guys have so many handles, sir. All right. So essentially, if you're long on Bitcoin or Ethereum 6, you need to be making sure you manage it like we would manage this, right? So let me get rid of this for clarity reasons. We have 2 things that are going to come into play for these people. One will be a bearish probability shift point if the 786 is lost. And one is what? Easy invalidation of the structure if we are to lose those lows, right? And that's around 86,390. So if you're someone looking for longs, you're looking for Bitcoin to give a 3-wave motion down like so. And then you're looking for a strong motion, a pullback, and a strong motion, right? This way, we start to make 5 waves within a 3. And I want you to understand that in Elliott wave, the most commonly expanded wave is the 3rd. So it's likely a lot of times you'll see this 3rd break that 1.618, right? You'll see that 3rd go for 2.236, 2.618, 3, 3.618, 4.618, 5.618. The extensions will be your best friend on this, and you're going to be pairing those up with structures as these trades move. But I would say overall, right, your probability shift points are here on the screen for when we need to get bearish and what we should be looking at, right? So, dude, thank you guys all for coming today also. There's a lot of people here, and I really appreciate all the support, guys. All right, let's keep going. All right, let's check the chat so I know what's going on. Make sure I'm catched up here. Dude, yeah, it's when you guys get sick, see, and you have kids and a wife, it's so stressful, isn't it? It takes so long for everybody to get unsick. Dr. T, yeah, get on the name change. Make it easy on me, sir. Same thing, Andy, make it easy on your guy. Is pump a coin that you want me to look at, CACU? Or are you just saying, like, pump it up? Let me know. Yeah, what's up, Delta? Do you got to work today, buddy, Delta? Or is it fucking snowy? Delta, we actually referenced you for the flat idea that we're talking about currently on Bitcoin to get these 5 waves up, sir. So thank you for the idea. You shared it on a larger time frame. We're just reviewing it now and how this could be an A, a B, and 5 waves in C, right? So really good trade idea is the bias of longs until you're getting up in here into these regions, right? And that is paired up with what? Internal liquidity left behind, right? And retracements. So everything that we're doing here is looking for fib confluence, right? We're going from 0 to the lows, not 0 to the expansions. We're going to team this up. Look at this, guys. The math's too good around that mid-92 range. So for right now, I think that's our bias, right? Is the longs until that mid-92 range. And then we'll go from there. All right. Nice work, 6. Good entry. 27.9, my dude. Fucking good entry. Yeah, hold that, buddy. Hold that. Hold that. And just run that stop loss and you'll be good, man. All right. All right. Next thing. Oh, pump is a coin. That's what I like to hear. The next one's going to be called like tit coin or fart ass or something. the names of these coins, they legit crack me up. All right. So do I have any fart boy people in the house right now? Anybody? Let me know what you guys got. Yeah, I popped a little poll there just to see what you guys think, guys. I want to see what your thoughts are. Is Bitcoin going to make that 92K range, or will we dump before then? I always like to kind of read you guys' sentiment, so if you don't mind hitting up that poll, and let's see what you guys have going on. I'll let that run for while I go through. That's a trick question. No, it's probably my piss poor English. So... yeah, guys, the main question would be, do you think it'll make the mid 92 range before we dump to a new low? Or will we dump first? Sorry, it only gave me a choice of yes or no. So, all right, let's go through Fart Boy. And to do that, guys, I've got to switch over to a deck screener really quickly. So just give me a moment here. Where is my Fart Boy chart? And are you guys on Fart Boy? Do you have the time for me to do the macro analysis for it? Or are you guys on Fart Boy only wanting the low time frame analysis? You guys give me a little pop in the chat, Fart Boy fam, and let me know what you got. For right now, we're going to go to this high like we had it. We have great respect at these extensions. Do you see? We're going to go to the low time frame while I wait for an answer from the Fart Boy community. And if they want the macro, I'll go through the macro for the Fart Boyers. But for right now, oh, Ted's in the house. Thanks for letting me know, brother. Oh, Jamie, you are so evil. You just want to dump the markets on these people? How could you? Before I switch screens on Ethereum, I do want to show you something just to be aware of is divergences are king. You have a regular bull divergence here on your 4 hour. So that is something good to be aware of. You do not have it on the 8 hour. I also want to check something really quickly. Here, where are you? My saved ones. I thought invite only. There we are. So you did not have a momentum divergence on the lows. So that's cool. All right. And that is mainly because of you had larger selling volume coming in, this massive spike on the lows, which is typical in the end of a corrective motion more than a 5-wave motion, unless it was an extended fifth, which we would have a hard time fucking arguing here. But anywho. All right, let's get out of here. Oops, I didn't mean to delete our RSI. That's one we actually use. All right, let's go to the Fart Boy low time frames, guys, and go through it. Sorry, I like to kind of give you more than just the bullshit answers as we go. So what we're going to do here, guys, is I want you to understand this is from the Discord community, what you're seeing on this screen. I keep them very updated. I give them Fart Boy updates constantly. In every live stream. Camilla loves them. She's one of our members who loves the live streams. She's always asking, so it's always updated. So if you guys will enjoy Fart Boy, you should really contemplate just coming on by, see what we're all about, and I think you'll be impressed, with the level of quality that we bring to the table. So, all right, so let's go back to our Fart Boy macro, and what I want to talk about on Fart Boy is this absolutely gorgeous move that we had to the upside, right? And I by no means believe that this project is dead. I don't think it's over. This is a strong community, right? You fucking go out and shake a stick and say fart boy sucks or fart boy this or fart boy that. You're going to have 200 motherfuckers at your door banging a hole in it. I mean, within seconds, right? So I do think as a community token, they do have a very strong community, and that is critical for what they're going for. So please don't sleep on this one. Don't fade it. I think you would get caught off guard. All right, so let me check here 1 second. All right, definitely like this better on logarithmic. We're going to keep it as such. What I want us to understand, we'll go to a daily, is when Fartboy was moving up into these highs, right? I'm sure it felt great, right? I was no part of this pump, so I can't speak to how it felt. We'll get to some of these volume things here in a second. But the basic concepts that I want you to take away from this is divergences. So we have a divergence on volume, and we have a divergence on the RSI. That's a momentum divergence. Now, that's what you're paying the expensive market cipher B to tell us. Hey, what the fuck happened here? What are the divergences, Rick? Right? This is where it would have told you to fucking sell. Because you did have a double divergence. You had a momentum divergence, meaning volume's falling off, last leg up, not supported by volume, and your RSI diverged. So you were already overbought as shit, and then you threw up a regular bear divergence. So because of that, let's delete everything that's on the screen so we can just see clearly. I strongly want to side with, because of this being a really big, strong first wave to the upside, it was that strong because it was the inception of the community, right? And then what do we see after that? A really strong displacing leg to the upside. That is likely a wave 3. Then we see what? Chopping and bull flagging. And what did everybody on the internet tell you? They said, this motherfucker is going to the moon, Ricky. That's a bull flag, right? So let's put a bull flag target on it and see where that would have went if the ifs and buts were candies and nuts. We're just going to clone it. If it were to have been a bull flag, right? Holy fucking shit, boys. $148? Oh my God, we should all sell our homes and get more, right? It's highly unlikely, yes? Even if we were to do this on linear so that we could have kept our targets more realistic, let me delete everything, it would have still been better, right? So that's something I want you to often consider on your macro, is the just be cool with maybe sometimes hitting a linear target. You might not catch the top. Motherfucker, nobody wants you to lock it. You might not catch the top, but I bet you're going to get a good bit of the move. You know what I mean? You're going to catch at least half to 75% of the move, which is going to be fabulous. And then you could have started DCAing out, right? And by no means, excuse me, need a sip of water. If you can't tell, I talk too fucking much. By no means would I have told you to sell out of this project completely. Or am I recommending you go sell Fartboy? I'm not. What I'm recommending is that this strong first leg of this project is a big badass motherfucker. And it is likely that this first leg will get a partner leg, right? This is something that I highly do believe in. So let's go back to logarithmic. And if you were to get a partner leg of that size, right, it would be quite substantial. How would it happen and what would it look like, right? You have a very long, lengthy, fucking just ass-dragging correction, yes? And because of that, its time of correction is far past its time of ascent by at least 2. I guarantee it, just by the look of my eye. Now, at what point do we say, oh shit, right? This is taking, far too long. That's usually here, the 6 in time. Now, because of how well Fartboy is holding on to this zone, I am going to bend what I call the guidelines of time and Elliott wave, and just disregard this. Because I'm going to take this as a sign of strength from a community who can actually pull off fucking something. Yes, I don't know how this will happen, but a large part of me feels like the chart is suggesting that we do continue to hold this range, if not wick a little bit lower before a nice strong move to the upside, right? So what we see here is great respect to the 0.236 retracement, and we're coming down here and we haven't touched the 382 yet. That lies around 0.5655. That would be my next support, followed by the 0.5 and onto the golden pocket. Now, my time in Elliott wave has taught me that things move in a leg, a connector, and a partner leg. Yes? Now, you can look at this however you want. You can say, oh, well, you're wrong, and this connection point should be here, and then 3 up only. So be it. It doesn't really change the math a lot. The reason why I'm sticking with the connection points that I have here is because when we apply these extensions, we can see amazing respect off the 618, amazing respect at the 786, right? These are support and resistance areas that no one else is giving you. Why? Because they don't know how to do this, right? So you need to understand what's going on in between the ranges of retracement. This whole area is not just some blind fiddle fuck box where things are just hoping to get here eventually. No, you need to form better strategies so that we can understand what's going on in here and why these extensions are getting respect. Yes? So that's not, I think it's above the kind of pay grade for a live stream. We would get into this too much. If this continued rejection off the 786 is going on, I would think that our most common area of interest of a one line as a 3-wave motion, meaning a leg and a connector and a partner leg, would then be a pivot for a potential low, right? And we would be looking for that low to be confirmed by what? One of 3 things. And I'm going to draw them in the most probable ways. The first one will be a 5-wave motion off the lows. That is a standard 5-wave. Impulse and Elliott wave, 1, 3, and 5 are motives. 3's fucking displaced. 4 doesn't overlap 1. 3 is not the smallest, and a successive high in 5. The next way would be the next most common way to see things move up. And that is 1 into 2, 1 into 2, and 1 into 2. These typically form in a very wedging motion and then break upward, right? This might be what your friends like to call an ascending triangle or some sort of fucking flag shit. But it's Elliott wave. And then you would look for 3 into 4, this one should have went higher, 3 into 4, 3 into 4, and then a successive 5th, right? So for every 1, 2 down low, you have a 3, 4 up high that gets wider. And people are like, oh my God, expanding patterns are bearish. Not in the 3, 4 setup. That's how you break out of the megaphone for the 5th. Then the next most common way that you can see a reversal made is in a diagonal. You shouldn't count on this. They don't often work out well, right? And then after them, there's a massive retracement to around a 78.6 retracement. So until we form one of these 3 styles of reversal for Fart Boy, I'm suggesting you wait. You be patient. Yes? So we're going to go in here. And I haven't looked on the deck screener low time frame chart yet and see what we might have going on. You piece of shit. Oh, there's no reset on this thing? God. All right. Was that wick lower or higher? Are you still with me, Fart Boy gang? Is this too much at once? Let me know. 1, 2, 3. I'm not super confident in this outside of an ABC currently, and I'll show you why. We have a chopping move up, a chopping move down, and then successive 5. Yes? On this chart, it does not play well as much besides an ABC to the upside, right? For now, unfortunately, I think that's what I would have to stick with. I don't like that this overlaps into the top of here. Even if you tried to lie and say your one of C ended here, it would make this into an expanding ending diagonal. And you would also want an ending diagonal, everything to be made in 3-wave motions. So that I will have to rule out that count already. So this is likely not a C. So I think let's go to a chart on MEXC that might be cleaner. Now it's the same fucking retarded setup. All right, let's do something different. If this is the low. Oh, look at this wick. I didn't see it because the... Can we change the count because of that? Maybe. And you could lie on Elliott wave on this count a little better. So let's... I know that's not what you... That's what nobody wants to hear, but that's what I'm going to do. So let's see which one was our highest high. This is should have been a sign for people to get the fuck out right here. Look at this candlestick reversal pattern. Tweezer top, bearish engulfing. That was the fuck you. Anyone who wants to know how to read candles, let's see how many people we have in the room really quickly. See if this joke hits. There's 13 of you here. So anybody who wants to learn how to read candles, it's the master class in reading candles. Hold your hand out in front of your face so that your palm is facing away from you. Then I want you to wrap your thumb in and your 3 fingers down and only leave up your middle finger. It's saying, fuck you. Yes? Now when you go look at your candles over here, you'll often notice the fuck you candles. Here's one. Here's one. Here's one. Right? Are you starting to see what I mean? Here's another one. That was very clear. Here's another one. It's just like your middle finger, right? It has 2 candles on each side of the big fuck you candle in the middle to where it formed a pivot, letting you know to get the fuck out. Yes? So if we want to be bulls, we're going to have to do some lying. Unfortunately, I think that's going to look like 1202. Oh, that's 20. Sorry, my old eyes are struggling right now. 12002. 12008. So this is the actual high. So I'm going to have to go with likely an A wave here, looking for some sort of complicated B wave into a C. Now, because of all this horrible fucking chopping, I would likely have to say that this is 3 down, 3 up, 3 down, and a WXY within a B wave. Yes? Now, as a trader, what I would be looking to do, son of a bitch, when you forget to click the tools, the thing will let you know every time, won't it? Go to low to high on this. We're starting to get support around the 786. So this is going to give us 2 data points on Fart Boy, right? First data point is what? Bearish probability shift point. We lose that 786 at 0.8267 and things get bad. Right? The next area of interest that we're going to talk about is the pure invalidation of the structure, right? At the lows or inception point of the possible 5 waves off the low. Yes? So I hope that you guys are starting to see this kind of like puzzle take place. So then we put extensions from 0 to the highest high reached in the ascent to the lowest low as of yet created. If this is true, we're looking for Fart Boy to give a successive 5-wave motion to 1 through 1.382 as a C wave, right, guys? But we've been talking, so we've been learning as we go, right? There's a lot to take in these live streams. I urge you, if you ever have questions, to please do reach out. I'm going to place a base channel currently from 0 to current low to the highs of the movement. Yes? If at any point Fart Boy has the strength and the angle of the dangle like an old man in sweatpants in a care home on Viagra, you will know that this is no longer a C wave to the upside and that we're going to get jiggy with it. Yes? So we're looking at a wave 1 into a wave 2 at that point. We get the angle of the dangle. Grandpa's here. 3, 4, and 5. That 4 typically likes to fall back to extension spots, 1.382 to 1.38 or 1.236. Now, the most common thing to have happen in Elliott wave though is to backtest this channel, right? But this is great. We can talk about this as we go. More invalidation points. I'll keep it all up to date in the Discord. For now, what are we seeing on the 4-hour candle on Fartboy though? Anybody? Just put it in the chat if you see it. I would love, love, love for someone to tell me before I draw it. We have higher volume sell-off, lower volume sell-off. What kind of candles did we form here? Anybody? We formed a fuck you candle, right? Nice possible pivot point. The next thing that we see is a divergence of selling volume as it moved down to make the next low. I'm going with this being a potential Y leg and a flat. That would then mean this is an ending diagonal in Y. Good job, Gert. Doji candle, right? You call them whatever you want. Sorry that I have a foul mouth. Now, when you examine that 4-hour candle, as Gert pointed out, a doji candle or a hammer candle, right? This should be something that resonates with you guys when you see them. Back in the day, traders used to call them 50% hammer candles, meaning that if I measure from high to low of that candle, is more of that candle made of handle or head, right? So if it's got a nice long handle on it and a little head, that's a hammer candle or a doji candle. We are looking for a potential reversal, right? So these candlestick patterns teamed up with areas of interest and all the other things that we're looking at today will help guide us so that we can make better choices. Yes? Instead of random ass choices. All right. So if we do form the pivot here, we're looking for these targets for Fartboy. A C wave to the 1 through 1.382. This is potentially taking Fartboy from 0.013 to 0.015 as a correction with the potential of a strong movement in a 3 in which Fartboy could reach 0.01755, right? And we'll cover the road as we go. But for right now, just stay focused. You have a divergence, right, guys? You can see it clear as day on the RSI. You can see the lower sellers, right? Higher, lower. It's that easy. If we're getting a momentum divergence at an area of interest, how are we not excited, right? We should be getting excited, right? So stay focused, stay the path, but understand that if we start to lose this invalidation point, things could get bloody. Yes, Fartboy will look like it had dairy. It's got some sort of allergy. It's going to turn into Sharp Boy instead of Fartboy, yeah? All right, let me know what you guys think on that one. So far, we handled Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Fartboy. Gert, the next one is for you, my dude, and that is OP. Let's go check it out. I think this might be a chart that you were sharing in the Discord. Correct me if I'm wrong, sir. All right. So for right now, because I think we all can see it, at least the people from my community likely can see it because they understand the structures. But if this is a wave 1, you can see a clean 3-wave pullback to make a wave 2, a wave 3 to an extension of 2.236, making it likely an extended third, correct? Then you have what looks like 3 waves down, 3 waves up, 3 waves down. I want to say it ends here as a correction. So I'm going to run this up to that wick. And you run into the 0.618. That's a wave 5 target. That's absolutely gorgeous. Now, did we get a good divergence profile with this? Yes, we did on RSI. Now, they pumped the fifth with volume. We've been seeing this in cryptocurrency a lot. No, it wasn't you, dude. Well, I hope that you saw this play because this might turn into something good. So, if we're wanting this to start to mainly be corrective after a 5, I will say that this is fucking hideous to the downside. Yes. It's past time in correction. If I was a spot buyer, I wouldn't be scared of it. It's past the 382, but as a leverage trader, we would have to go into lower time frames here to see how I feel about getting into some leverage. But let's delete this volume. Let's delete the divergence. And please do, guys, if you have any questions that you run across during this, reach out. Let me know. Bye, CACU. We will miss you. All right. Oh, Addy posted. Well, somebody posted OP because I know I saw this in the community a while ago. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get comfortable. I need a better office chair. My fucking old body cannot handle this. So let's go see. Did we see one of our 3 types of reversals off this low? We might have to go to a USDT chart to get rid of this barring. Let's go see. Yeah, that's a little better. That's a little more clean. So if, how would it happen? Could we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a leading diagonal, but for some reason it didn't retrace deeply because everything here could be seen really cleanly as 3 up and 3 up and 3 up. And then this looks like an expanded flat correction to me with hidden bull divergence on the RSI at these pivots. So that's fucking super duper. I think if that's true, we're looking at a 15-minute long play, possibly. Let me check. One thing that I wouldn't like is that if that was a diagonal, the low is in after the 382, but the low is in much higher than what we typically like to see after diag. So if you had 0 to the highs, right? Don't go to the expansion. We'll go check the expansion here in a second. You can see respect at the 236, and then we came up for the expansion. So let's check the expanded B from high to low. And I'm going to this low. 1.236 through 1.382 is the most common. Frost and Prechter note the 1.618 as invalidation. Other Elliott wave technicians like to say the 2, but we have been burnt before. I believe it was on Adam using the 2 line because the successive structures actually never played out. So that's something to keep in mind. Likely it's best not to bend the rules of Frost and Prechter. All right, so if that's true and you were to absolutely start going from here, great. You would say that's an ABC, but my largest concern would be what if this is only the first leg of correction and then you make some sort of bounce up and then we give 5 waves down and then you would have an ABC correction. This would need to retrace at least 90%, if not expand. If it does that, it would be showing you strength, if anything, right? And then you would want to see it end on 5 as an opportunity. Now, you can see just candlestick wise here, the what do you guys want to call it? The doji. Sorry, I must use the F word. And then what do? We fall back down to back test it, right? But you can see between that candle and this wick, there's this little freaking zone. So there is a chance that they pull it back. Yes, this one cleaned it up. See, they left the zone here from the breakout, and then they cleaned it up with the first wick. So my curiosity is that the first leg of correction? We get another correction, and then a final 5 down to end a correction on high selling volume. So in my opinion, on an hourly, I could be waiting for a long on OP. But it would be me waiting. So, all right. is that helpful for you too, cats? Let me know. Overall, my guy, I think as a spot trader, I wouldn't be peeved if I had bought there, right? I would just hold it, right? Because you can see the internal fair value gap left behind. Let's delete everything and put it on. You can see they did not clean it up. She is not proper, right? But we came to 50% and we caught support. So now we're looking for this to potentially move up. Yeah. So I hope that is helpful, my dude. The low is in before a 382. So yes, there's a chance. So we'll have to just keep watching. But for right now, I dig it. What I don't dig about it is the 8-hour doesn't have a regular bull divergence. But what we can see is what on the volume. Selling volume is starting to decline. I would have liked to pair that up with a regular bull divergence, but instead we have a what? Hidden bull divergence on the RSI, meaning lower lows created on the RSI, but not on price action. So that's reasons to argue for maybe some upside. Yes? All right. So as a spot trader on an 8-hour, risk to reward here is not horrible. On OP, I don't know if there's many optimism traders out there. So if there are, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear if you guys are holders of this, if you know much about this project. I don't know much, but I think that overall, with the hidden bull divergences on OP, we are starting to think, hey, maybe we'll see this move up. So how would we navigate this? And what would be the targets to the upside and invalidation points as a trader on OP? Yes? So if that's the current low, that's a maybe, right? We're not saying it is, but as a risk to reward of a spot trader, invalidation's here. Yes? Bearish probability shift point, we've already danced with that devil once, right? That's the 786. We'll put it off to the side so you can see it a little more clearly. And now you're looking for a motion towards the upside, right? So if this is 5 waves up in Elliott wave, now we are looking for a successive 5-wave motion, and whether it be an A or a 1, we will find out later, right? So we don't know if the B wave's over yet, or the 2, whatever your friends are going to want to call it, and we'll judge that again like we did on other coins that we've talked about during this analysis, right? Where we use the base channel, where we're using all of our corrective extensions, and we're aiming for what if scenarios, right? Now, this is called a 3-swing trading strategy, what you see on the screen right now. This is essentially how in real time you as a trader can set up a 3-swing strategy all on your own and start to make real gains. Yes? Even if it's a spot trade, guys, I don't want you to knock yourself, right? Even if you entered today's spot and you told yourself, wow, I'm willing to take a 15% cut in spot to aim for at least a 1-to-1 payout, so 40%. That's a 2.69 risk to reward ratio. That's not bad, right? And if you're lucky, we see a little more pumpage on that, right? Even up to 1.382. That's a 4.3 trade. Now, if you're lucky, I'm laughing because you would be lucky. 81% gain in a wave 3 and overall 134% gain in a wave 5. Now, don't get caught up in the clouds. Let's stay focused on our base channel, our extensions, and see how this successive 5 waves to the upside is built, and then we will go from there. But for now, that's my analysis for OP Gert. I hope it's helpful. All right, let's go to Momo for Stank. Are you still in the house, Stank? Let's see if this poll, let's end the poll so we can see the results. All right, what's up, Happy? How are you? I'm waiting to see if Momo is Happy. Is Momo something you've heard of? You're a shitcoin mafia. You love those things. All right, the Neo Matrix candle, Brian. That's funny. At the end, I'll leave some time if you guys want to just hang out and bullshit a little bit. but I'm going to keep pushing on because we're already at an hour and I'm not quite done with all my charts. So if I missed any of you guys' charts, or if you're still here, give me a shout out in the chat and let me know you're still here. And let's go find Momo. Isn't that the scary thing that was like telling kids on the internet to kill its parents in like Peppa Pig videos or some shit? I could be wrong, but it's like, I'm pretty sure that's what Momo was. Happy comes in like he's such a diva and then just leaves. God damn. It's the only person that comes in a room and is like, hi everybody, bye. God damn. All right, so overall, because of this motion, that's a 3 waiver, yes? And then they pretty much ended on pretty decent volume. I would say, in my opinion, Stank, I would have to let this one go for one of 2 reasons. One would be that it's just a simple ABC to the upside, stops at the 1.618 and gives overlap. The next thing is that you'll notice that this overlap is an expansion, right? It's bigger than what would have been its partner leg in a 2. So because of that, and what we've learned from Frost and Prechter is that when we begin to see this arcing to the downside, it often leads to displacement, right? So be aware this could go to new lows. That's my 100% for now best guess on this. Yeah, even, do you see what they did here? This was fucking gorgeous. Look at these assholes. Here, let's go look at this on an 8 hour. I want to see, was this just outright manipulation? Look at these motherfuckers. Right here, boys. Here she was. Likely an ABC correction towards the upside. And they fucked you. Why? Because look at it. Higher highs on price action. M top on the RSI. Lower buying volume. And they pumped it right into the highs. Higher selling volume as it gets right there. Bullshit, Ricky. Fuck this coin. All right, the next one. Let's move on. Sol. Now, I don't know what time frame you're wanting on this, Jamie, if you're still here. For Solana, I don't have the most bullish counts. So, guys, my overall analysis on it, I think I need to do... Let me check on my USD chart to see if it wicked as bad. No, good. We're going to stick with this one. My overall analysis is going to be this was 1-2 stacking to the upside. And I will be fit to want to try to change it or have my opinion changed much on that. Even if you want to BS it about, you can put it here. I don't really care. But that will be the cycle high because I think this was 1 into 2, 1 into 2, 1 into 2, like we talked early in the stream, in that wedging formation, leading to a breakout that goes into what? 3s into 4s, 3s into 4s. Here was another 3 into 4 here, so that we have that triple stack. And then we go up in the final 5th. And what do we see here? Highest volume, highest oscillation within the wave 3 of the wave 3, right? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of wave 3, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 waves of 3 were done. So this is your 5 waves of your internal wave 3, and this was your wave 3 of the wave 3. That's why it had the highest volume and highest oscillation. Yes? Please do be noting these things. It will help you in the future, I promise. The next thing that we notice is what? Declining buying volume, diverging RSI, M-top, Mickey Mouse said, fuck you. Yeah? Divergence. It is king. That was a momentum divergence. It told you to go bye-bye. And you did it. I bet no one DCA'd out here. Or even when you got another one. Divergence. And what did they do here, gang? They fucking pumped it. I pushed the wrong button. They pumped it into high selling volume, right on the wickety tickety tockety tickety top. And guess who bought? All the fucking losers who wanted to be exit liquidity. Because you don't understand what's going on, right? You can't just fucking blindly buy shit and hope for the best. It doesn't work out. So when you're looking at Solana, you need to understand that you have to look at the macro before we can consider the micro. And the macro is a leg, a 3-wave, clear as fucking day connector waiting for a partner leg. Yes? That goes to 1 through 1.382. The next thing I want to show you is time. 0 to 5. We are just now past the 382. So to everybody who thought they were a genius who bought here, you were before the 382. That was and then you made a 3-wave move. If you didn't sell this, you are trapped. You will ride down to this box and then you will get relief. Yes? It will work out. I promise. Things will get better. Don't just pity yourself and sell into the pain right now. Let it happen. You're already all the way down here. Let it happen. Yes? Now, my largest concern, unless Solana is just super bullish, which, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know anything about this project. I'm no fucking Raoul Paul. I don't have a beautiful turkey neck yet, so I don't have enough wisdom under my belt. But overall, my largest concern would be the what if, right? What if this is the first leg of correction? So we get an ABC that comes down in this box, but it's only an A. And then we get a B wave, and it goes for new all-time highs. And then you get a C wave. And everybody finally sees what it's like to be a trader. Because everybody will buy into this rally because all of your friends will tell you that it's going to get another partner leg to $1 million. Right? It's going to be the fucking Macho Man Randy Savage is going to send this thing up to $1K, $1,200, right? That's what they'll all be claiming when this shit happens. They will go nuts. I promise you now. Yes? So overall, that's my view on Solana. I am biased to downside. You are beginning to find the gateway drug as resistance. I am biased to downside to around 91 bucks, if not 81, right? That could be the first leg down. Now, can it get expanded? Can you get an extended fifth here that pushes down deeper? Sure, right? Shit happens. I can't tell you what's going to happen. These are all just guesses, yeah? Dude, Litecoin is for sure going to 4K though, Bree. Good note in the chat. Thank you for posting that. Yeah, more like go sell your fucking homes, sell your cars, get a couple bicycles off Greg's list, and start fucking cleaning gutters and shit and buy Litecoin. It's going to $1 million. All right, the joke's gone far enough. Solana is covered. Let's go look at Jasmy for Stank. Are you still in the house, my dude? Stank. I've got to know what made you choose the name of your handle. What does it stand for? Stank. Is it part of your name? Is it is it like my English? Is it some other outside thing that I don't understand? All right. Jasmy's a son of a bitch. I want you to understand. I would have loved to be a buyer of this motion. Yes, a 3-wave motion to the downside after a potential 5-wave to the upside. That had everything you needed, right? It had divergences. This chart's already marked up, guys, because it's something that we've been sharing in the Discord. So don't feel left out. Come get in the game, right? Like, there's no reason to not fucking understand what's going on. For now, I'm going to put a couple RSI resistances in here that I urge you to put on and start watching yourself. They'll tell us more as we go. But overall, we're looking for a test of this bull control zone and the 50 EMA for Jasmy. Until we get this, the road's unclear. Yes? But what I would like to say is a 3-wave move down, fills an internal fair value gap left behind from the breakout candle, and it was in a three-wave motion that deeply reset RSI with what on the volume, folks? Declining sellers. Yes, that's your signs and symptoms, right? Here's your hidden bull with way the fuck back here. New lows on RSI, but not on price action. Hidden bull divergence at an area of interest, gang. Yes, let's clean this up a little bit. Now what I want to look at is time, 0 to 5. First low was in before a 382 in time. You can see that very clearly on Jasmy, meaning this likely was not the end of a correction. And then we get what? Chopping motion to the upside and then a partner leg. Yes? So be aware that you could be forming a pivot. Now let's go into lower time frames. Let's delete the bullshit. Do we have on a daily, on a 4 hour, on any of these time frames, a reason to get involved? I would say so far, you're going to be hard pressed, but maybe. It's going to take some lying here. This would have to be a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you would need this to be a corrective motion to the downside. I'm not going to beat my head against the wall and try to figure this out right now. It's not very clean and clear. You are starting to displace here in the middle. So I would want to be open to somehow, maybe this is 1 into 2, 3 into 4 into 5 would be my largest concern. Not only do you have a divergence with that kind of count, but it's like, dude, you have decent displacement here, you know? My major fear would be that this keeps correcting towards the downside. So I don't think I would be a buyer at this point. I'd be more of a watcher, more of a lurker, because for right now, you'd be hard pressed until we break this high, right? And even then, you know, it's like maybe just waiting for confirmation could be best, right? We need to see this start to make a 5-wave in here to the upside, and then you can buy support, right? At least then you would have a known invalidation. Right now, your known invalidation is all the way down here. And to be honest with you, that's a little bit down from where I would like to play this game. 20%. Yeah, I'm good. Oh, your name's Stanko. Got it. Try to remember that, man. Sorry. All right. Gert's out. Later, buddy. Stankola from Outcast. That's funny. All right. Velo for Ted. Let me write that down. Ted, what's up, bud? You're still in the house. What did you think, Ted, about the fart boy analysis, sir? I know that it's not like the most positive stuff. I'm not telling you it's going to 1 million. I'm just trying to be super objective with you, you know? All right. That's everything I got on Jasmy for now. Let's go look at Rose. It might have crapped on whatever idea we did have. Ooh. Why do I like this shape? What does this look like? Arcing, right? Let's zoom out and see why we have a C here. I haven't looked yet. Oh. So, unfortunately, this might be the oldest chart that I can find on it, but the reason we're thinking that we have this is 3 down in A, 3 up in B, which would have been an ABC that reached at least the 90%, making it a flat, and then a successive 5-wave motion to the downside. We don't have overlap, so we're still good there. So it does make sense. Now, I would say that the daily is starting to look a little shoddy. We are getting those divergences, right? Higher highs, lower lows. We shouldn't have included this one. I apologize. This can only start in 1-2 stacking or a diagonal or the standard impulse. I will tell you now, we're going to take everything off the screen. Not one fucking part of me thinks this is a standard impulse at all. You maybe could get me to lie into some sort of fucking diagonal. But again, this is bad. This would be an expansion, which would, this wouldn't be great. You wouldn't want this leg to be bigger than that one, unless this was 3 up and 1, 3 down and 2, 3 up and 3. I don't know, man. I would hate to say that was 4 and that was it. And I would also hate to say all of that was 4 because I doubt you would have 2 expanded flats within it. I would have to, unfortunately, yeah, nice head and shoulders, all right there. You have to lose this kind of area of confluence, which would be good because then maybe you could say that this was an A, B, C flat, right? But I think all you're left with would be some sort of fucked up diagonal at this point. I highly don't believe that it's 1-2 stacking. I think as a spot buyer, if you bought down there, you're great. I'm going to go to here. God, it's hard to make this thing end in 3 waves. Oh well, I'm not going to sit and fuck with it forever. Yeah, this is horrible. I wouldn't fuck with this until it makes a larger pullback and a larger correction to give this dude a partner leg. So I do think that, excuse my magnet, I do think that this somewhat looks like a 5-wave motion down and a 3-wave expansion. So I would look for that if I wanted to trade it. Right now, I would be a lurker on this one. I'd go from high to low to high. Most common thing to have happen is to take the prior low of the correction to make an expanded flat, meaning we look for 0.01540, but all the way down to 0.01402, which is confluence of golden pocket, and 1.618 extension. So essentially what would scare people out, I want no magnet, fool. What would scare people out would be that you start to get a 5-wave motion to the downside or even a diagonal to the downside of an ending diagonal in a C. But overall, it would be a strong motion down. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't wick that 50% of that bullish candle. So just be aware of that. I also like that both of these highs were on bullish order flow or green wicking candles. Yes? But for now, the macro would be king on Rose. I'll try to see if we can get a longer history here. Maybe that's the market cap. Sometimes. No, that's Rose, this one. All right, let's do this really quickly. Is this the same story? Same old story, same old song and dance, my friend. Yep, same shit, dudes. Same shit. I would just be patient on this one. You really need that reversal, but let me pump this so you can see something that, I guess we could look at it on the other one too, so that it doesn't really matter which chart you like. I think that Coinbase typically has the more trusting of the charts due to likely no fucking power of people shorting the shit out of everything. If you were to place a base channel here, I'm curious how it acts on this one compared to that one. See how this one is under the base channel, finding it as resistance? That does bias me to want that move down before you can move up. Centerline reaction, move up, pull back on the larger scale, and then talk about what is this leg, a C or a 3. Does that make sense? I think that Rose could be bullish for your spot holders, but losing that low around 0.0099, i.e. the fucking 1 cent line, is it's gonna be really bloody. So that's my opinion. All right, that's Rose. Let's go over to Axis. Try to start hammering these out a little faster. I apologize, guys, for keeping you so long today. These live streams can be quite a grind, but I hope that I'm bringing to you quality. I hope that you're enjoying this. If you are, if you could let me know in the chats. As always, liking the stream and sharing it with people always helps us get seen. All right, so these are counts that were shared in the Discord. We rode the play on axis of a wave 4 into a wave 5. Yes, I, and I think many others, were generally sold out around this 240 range when we really started to struggle and was all the way out by the 618. Yes. Now, we're considering this due to 1-2 stacking, meaning 1 into 2, 1 into 2, 3 into 4, 3 into 4, and then we'll get a successive wave 5. Now, with how strong this first leg has been to the downside and such a pretty reaction here at the 382, I would like to think this is an A. We're waiting for a B wave for a short, and then we get 5 waves down for a good long, around $1.64. It will test out prior degree wave 4, which is often what we see in 1-2, 1-2 stacking, is that we see at the tops an expansion of 3-4, 3-4 stacking. Yes? So I really want to be open to catching this play, right? So let's delete everything so you can just take this in. This is wave 1 into 2 and wave 3 on the macro, and you're waiting for wave 4 and 5. You are going to place your wave 4 retracements from the low of 2 to the high of 3 using your wave 4 template taught in the Discord. Pop it on. You now know where invalidation is for all of your spot holdings, yes? This is really baller. This is the shit. Yes, this is when you start making money as a trader, when you figure this out. So losing prior degree wave 4 and hitting the 0.618 will likely invalidate your play. Yes? Now, we can go in here and try to pick this thing apart, but due to the displacement in the center, I'm not going to have time for this. In my opinion, I'm going to side with this as the first leg of correction. I'll go in the Discord later and work on whether or not we go for this sharp C-wave sell-off in a 4. But overall, this gives you great mathematics to the upside, right? The math does not lie. You go from 0 to 3 to lows of 4, around an average of the 0.5 retracement, and we aim for wave 5. Now, as a fucking trader, this is the jam right here. You're not obviously using leverage. That's a 12% loss, dummies. But your gain is 126% while you're risking 12%, equating to nearly a 10R trade setup. I want you to understand how beautiful that is. Now, the thing and why I think we're seeing the bounce right now locally is because we have higher closures on price action and lower closures on the RSI. Yes? So look at this. Hidden bull divergence in a nice displacing move likely gets retraced in 3 waves, followed up with 5 waves that typically takes the low of A. At that point, we'll look for divergences. We'll look for this to end on high selling volume here with a big old red dildo. And we'll look for hidden bull divergence with this pivot. So until the RSI is around 38.17 area and back to oversold, I really don't have interest. I'm going to sit on my hands. I already made this play. I'm not willing to piss away money chasing shit. Yes? All right, so overall, that's the play we're looking for on that. After we get the top in a wave 5, we will then see a larger movement down to this degree wave 4, a bounce, and a movement down again to fill what will likely end up being an imbalance in the chart. Yes, if not this imbalance in the chart. Right? And we'll use our extensions, bang, 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 as a 3-swing short. Shorter here. Sell our spots here, make money all the way down, okay? So that should be pretty helpful. Let me get a sip of coffee. My fucking throat is about to explode. Hey, we got someone up in the house. Vinishavi, how are you? We did not cover it. We've been going for an hour and a half, but for you, a longtime viewer, we'll write it down. Thanks for coming by, bud. Hope you're having a good week. We're just getting into it. But there's no better way to start your week than knowing what's going to happen in the charts. Am I right? All right. So the next thing we're going to go look at is for CACU. And it sounds like a real gem. Pump fun. All right. Well, fuck me and my smart mouth. You might be right here, my friend. So, a couple things. If this was a movement towards the upside, the low is in before the 382. It's likely not the low, yes? So what we're looking at here is that you could have potentially seen a standard impulse to the upside, right? And now you're working on a leg, a connector, and a partner leg to come back into an imbalance in the chart. And that would be my best guess. Due to divergence on the RSI, you can see higher closures, meaning the flats of the candles, not the wicks. Nobody cares about the length of your wick, Craig. We just care where the bodies ended, yes? So because of the divergence on the bodies, let's check the volume. You see what they did here? You gotta pump it up, gotta know. They pumped it up into the fifth wave to sell all the degens who fucking trade this kind of shit as exit liquidity. Yes? Now, this fucking move looks very 3, 3, 5. Maybe that's your connector and this is 1 into 2 and we're looking for 3, 4, and 5. Now let's add some extensions and retracements to this. I've never personally covered pump fund, so I don't really know anything about this. I understand a lot of smut is circulated over there. I'm not a big shitcoin trader. Try to avoid it. Sometimes I dabble in a couple here and there if the boys need it. We've taken some really fucking stinkolas in the community, so everybody's been there, right? If this gives you an ABC to the downside from here, currently we're looking for 5 waves to take the lows of A. Great respect at the gateway drug, my dudes. Great respect. I think the most common thing to have happen, test prior degree wave 4, come to the 1 through 1.382. I fucking love this. You got me. Who got me? CACU. My boy. You've been studying, have you? You're learning fast. All right. So if that's true, guys, let's look for on pump fund an ABC down to 1 through 1.382 noted on the chart. And the other reason why we like this as a B wave high is what? Besides the 3-wave motion, right? Besides this chopping 3-waver, it ends on high buying volume. Again, used you as a dirty little piece of exit liquidity. Now you're out there doing the morning walk of shame in front of everybody, holding on to your coins until carrying your fucking shoes until you make the final blood cut down. Yes? So let's look for a 5-waver. Let's see what we do when we get back to losing prior degree wave 4. And I think we'll know a lot more from there. But overall, pump fund, and this is why pump fund becomes a great coin to try to trade. You have a potential gain of 85% on pump fund. Yes? So turn off your volume, turn off your RSI, and let's plot our targets coming up for pump fund from 0 to 5 to a potential low of a 3. Please do not quote me. I'm not saying it stops here or there. I have no clue what this is going to do. Let's turn on our new style retracement. Oh, that would make people just piss their fucking knickers. If we hit the 786 and a 1.236 confluence, for me, that's the cream. That's what I'm going for. And then I would look for this to be likely an A into a B. And we go for a C to 1 through 1.382. So if you're a trader, what you're looking at here is the risk to reward on the table, right? So if I'm looking for my entries, invalidation on the current lows is only a 12% cut for a spot trader. Looking for a gain of around 84% in a C wave up to 132% in a C wave. Now, if one were to get lucky in this trade, and I want to tell you, you could get lucky. Why? Because everybody's such a fucking nauseating bear right now. It makes me want to throw up. 3, 4, and 5. So your trade could get juicy, right? Sell off into the 3, get the fuck out, come back in the 4, my dudes. Buy twice as much as what you did have. Ride the 5, sell out again. Yes? But nonetheless, this is how Pump Fund maybe equates to a 3x gain, right? So that's what we're all here for, is to pump it up. There it is. All right. The next chart is Velo for Ted, my boy. We haven't covered this in a little bit. We cover it basically every stream. We in the community have been keeping this updated, Ted. I wish you were in there, because then you wouldn't have missed out on this. You would have seen the potential for this to be a diagonal to the upside and now making a retracement. Yes, we had seen this fucking punch up, high volume, ending on high volume, all chopping and overlapping, and it's contracting in on itself. Yes, so it gave us the hopes that this is, you know, some sort of contracting diagonal. So if it is going to be that, minimum retracement typical is the 786, right? Now, the other thing that I would want to be open to, though, is what if I'm wrong? Yes, so let's zoom out again. I can't remember if I have this on chart still. All right, so let's look at this on a macro. And we talked in the community about why we sold out here. Yes, now I'm going to talk about what happens if I'm wrong, right? And I get left behind. Yes, so I'm not buying back yet. I've got to be very clear on that. I played Velo the first time as a diagonal to the upside in all 3 wave motions. So after which we usually see this come back to around the 786. We're currently rejecting off the 0.5. This would be the first 3 wave motion towards the downside, right? Let's look at time. From the lowest low to the highest high. The low was in after the 382. So maybe we were lucky, right? Maybe I get left behind and this is the low, right? I'm tapping my chest right now being like, shit, is this really going to happen? Now, if that was a leg in a 3 wave connector, and a partner leg in 5, which we can see fairly clearly, we came to the 1 through 1.382. Nothing's to say that this couldn't push down again, right? This was where our initial buys were at. I sold out. Whether this is a diagonal here again, which I don't even want to fucking believe, we'll see, and we'll look for that reversal. But my most probable thing that I would have to say is that I would like to see it come down and get some of this 786 on its hands. And I would like to DCA back in small, medium, and the wizard's hat of the largest buy at the 786. Little Indiana Jones here. Whoopsh. Yes? That's a pretty good fucking Indiana Jones hat for your hand. But that's what I would be looking for, yes? And then you would be seeing this as likely 1 into 2, 3 into 4, and going for the final 5th. Yes, and I'm sure we could put a little bit more math on this. This is just rough estimate. That 618 falls right at the top of my buy box. Yes? So in my opinion, I'm looking to get back into Velo in these prices. Yes? And then after which, on Velodrome, right, this is what we all came for, is the fucking what's next? What are we going to pump to, right? So if you've been asking yourself, what are you going to pump to on Velo eventually, go from low to high to low. Maybe it stops here. Maybe it comes down. I don't know, right? For right now, I'm just going to go with that average target because we did see confluence of the 786. And look for this to be either an ABC, or, like we've talked about prior, a 5-wave motion that gets much, much stronger. And in that case, we're looking for a wave 1 as the leading diagonal, a wave 2 as a correction, a wave 3, 4, and 5. And these are all averages, right? We would have to adjust this as we go. But as a trader, that's how Velodrome goes from, let me use our actual risk to reward so you can see just how fucking gorgeous this is. This, let's go catch this thing because we're definitely not risking that much, asshole. Whammy. That would have been disgusting. All right, so losing the low of the structure is our actual risk. Yes? Now, as soon as you lose this 888 or even touch it, it's highly likely that the trade is cooked. Yes? I personally don't want to lose the 786. I'd prefer if we don't even fucking touch it. Now, we will adjust our risk as we go. As a spot trader, 50% is a massive, massive cut. Yes? But your first target is an absolutely incredible gain. The reason why is because the first leg up on Velo was 3,738%. So you're looking for a partner leg of 3,378% again. If not more in a C wave, a wave 3, or a wave 5. Yes? Now, I will begin to switch my extensions to linear after we form a pivot and start to move up. Yes? Because there'll be more realistic price targets on linear than on logarithmic. Yes? I want you to understand that. Motherfucking auto. Thank you. Computer always thinks it knows more than you know what I mean? So in my opinion, you know, it's really, really not a horrible setup to be hunting for, right? That gives you your 618 confluence. Put your fucking entry right around there, around 0.2364. And let's ride this pony. Yes? Most common thing to have happen would be to take those highs. On linear, I know it doesn't sound as juicy, but it's still 1,591%. Or 15x where I come from. Right? This shit does happen. Last season in our upswing, I nailed a 1,400%er on Pepe. Right? All right. That's Velo. Let's go look at Link. As much as I don't want to, this chart is horrible. I do not enjoy it at all. But because you asked, my friend. After this chart, we are going to just go into likely chatting mode as we've been going for 1 hour and 42 minutes. And if anything comes up while we're chatting, I would love to talk about whatever it is that you guys have. All right. So right now, the major problem that I see here on Chainlink is a possible failure of a 3-wave motion. Right? Here's another 3-wave motion towards the upside. Let's look at some volume only for right now. They pumped it into the highs with good volume, likely corrective. Into the highs with good volume, again, likely corrective, right? This isn't what you, this is not what you want to see at all if you're wanting to be a bull. Yes? It usually is setting you up for a swing failure point. Head and shoulders. So when we do head and shoulders, I really like clean, perfect 4 points of contact, right? So we could, I'm sure, move this about somehow and try to make it better. But because for me to get to the head of it, I have to be like super pulled up. I will say that when I play a head and shoulders, I like to see a descending neckline. So a neckline that travels downwards versus an ascending. Ascending neckline would be showing a strength in buyers against the sellers, kind of. Excuse my burp. I haven't ate breakfast yet today. So in my opinion on Chainlink, I'm not... Oopsie, we'll go back and fix that. I'm getting no skin in this game until $9.13 and down to $6. I know that's not what anybody wants to hear, but for now, that's my bias, is a move down into this area. As a trader, you're not going to want that lost, yes? So keep it simple. Don't worry about all the fucking what if counts and all this other shit. Just understand $9 to $6 is a massive buy zone. Yes, small, larger, and the largest. Yes? And typically, as a spot buyer, after my first buy, I like to wait at least a minimum 10%. This is 20. Perfect. Hit it with a bigger buy. Yes? And then from there, I would like to see at least another 10% drop for me to be interested again. Boom. Last largest buy. Yes? And that's how I'd run Chainlink. And until that's over and we actually see support, I'm not going to dig into it deeply. Yes? All right, guys, that's basically every chart that we had. Does anybody have any questions or anything from the chat today? Let's see if anybody's still out there. I said in the chats, does anybody got any questions after the analysis today? Or do you have any charting educational questions, how to set up your fibs, how to do anything? While we're waiting on that, we'll go review 2 head and shoulders patterns that we played into the community. The first one was on ICP. Guys, this is just the chatting segment of the thing, just to see if you guys had anything left. If you do, shout it out. If not, I'm just going to poke around and show you a couple plays that we played in the Discord recently and show you what you're missing out on. So in my book, this is an inverse head and shoulders. Why do I like it? Number 1, 4 clean points of contact, break, back test, go. Off of the back test, estimated target was 33%. You get that. Yes? The next thing that you'll note is not only do we rely on patterns, but we're actually good at what we do. We know more than simple bullshit. You never got past the 1 through 1.382. You're highly corrective. ABC. What did it do on volume, guys? Pumped it right into the fucking highs on volume. Bang. ABC. In the Discord, we shared this pattern when we were right here. You could have made a 33% gain. Yes? Let me show you this short that we took on sand in the Discord community. I'll show you. We got in right here. This was where we got in. 16 fucking cents. That short now is down. Right now, 18%. But overall, it went down around 20%. I closed half of my sand short. I've still got half running. I'm not scared. I've got an invalidation point, and I'm going to continue to watch. I have a stop loss on, and I'm riding the whip. You're making money, right? You're looking for 3-wave motion, rejection. You can add to shorts, invalidation, right? You're either going to be wrong or right. You've got to take a chance, though. You've got to learn these fucking moves. All right, that was 2 good plays. All right, B has a question here about something. He says, when you're looking at wave structure, is one of the things that leads you to saying it's a 3-wave motion versus a 5-wave motion if there isn't any displacement in the middle? Great question. So let's delete everything and go to a dark space so we can be alone and talk about it. If you have an ABC, meaning a 3-wave motion, right? When do we know to pull the trigger to know if this is just 3 or if it's more, right? So we're not going to get into the brass tacks of Elliott wave here and start counting, but overall that's 5 waves up, 3 waves back, and 5 waves up. Until this, remember this, I want you to remember this, leg and a partner leg. Until this partner leg can break the 1.382, you don't have anything. Yes? So let me just draw this in here, and then we'll redo our channel. I think that seeing this depicted on a chart is what really helped me figure out Elliott wave. Without a leg and a partner leg, you don't have shit. Yes? So let's put our base channel back on. from low to high. And obviously the opposite if we're trending the other way. And then these are our extensions, yes? A leg, connector, partner leg. If it is just a 3-swing motion, that means this is A, B, and C. It never breaks a base channel, right? It never breaks a base channel, and it doesn't break our corrective extensions using the trend-based fib extensions. That means this is a 3-wave motion. An Elliott wave, it's a corrective motion. Now, if this successive partner leg were to have broken upward and hit 1.618, now it can qualify itself to be a potential wave 3 due to the displacement that you noted B when you made the 5 waves within 3. Let me get a greenie. Right? And now you're looking for what? A 3-wave pullback in a wave 4 to hold a base channel, and then a successive 5-wave motion to around the same estimated 2.236, or we can employ at that time 0 to 3 to 4 to get the estimated 0.618, right? So we have trend-based and we have averages, but overall, this is what we'll be watching for, sir. As we approach into those highs, to tell when we needed to get out, we'll usually see a regular bearish divergence, higher closures on price action, but not on the oscillator that's chip chopping around down here. Yes, you would have a divergence. Same thing on volume. You would likely have higher volume, lower volume from your buyers. So I hope that's helpful, guys. I hope everybody enjoyed today's live stream. I truly, truly appreciate you coming by. I will get everything time-stamped and get this put on YouTube. All I ask, guys, is that you subscribe, toss me some love, show your friends, show everybody what we got going on. Let's learn and love and share these strategies and grow together. And as always, guys, I appreciate your time. Thank you for today. See you next time.